Welcome back to Friday Night Vedder Mysteries. You've noticed a bit of a gap in our summer schedule. Quite right. My apologies. We've had a few unexpected bumps. Or should I say, I've had a few unexpected bumps. If you've been following along, you'll remember that I've fallen victim to a series of disturbing and damaging events throughout the season. I've been so concerned that I reported it to the authorities. But they're too busy, of course, to take much note. Too busy to investigate breaks on my red barchetta being tampered with. Too busy to investigate the poisoning of my whiskey tumbler. It's maddening. I very narrowly escaped both incidents. So, as I previously mentioned, I've come out of an early retirement as a private investigator to research my own circumstances. And I think I've made some significant headway in the intervening number of weeks. So, here's what I found. First of all, oh dear, pardon me, my director. She's motioning. Okay, all right. Get on with the program. Okay, very sorry. More on my own story in a few moments. You're here today for the final play in our Season 1 of Friday Night Vedder Mysteries. This final play is again written by the revered mid-century British playwright Austin Stone. It's the only one of our plays never to have been seen anywhere, not on the BBC, radio as the previous three. This is a verifiable world premiere. Okay, the scene is Yorkshire, England, in the latter half of the 18th century, when the notorious burglar and murderer, the ironically named Charles Peace, murders Arthur Dyson. Why? Well, love, of course. It's always love or greed, isn't it? Peace had earlier that year shot and killed a policeman, a crime that someone else had been convicted of. A wicked, wicked man indeed. Well, I don't want to give away too much. So sit back, pour yourself a glass of some wonderful libation or a steaming cup of Earl Grey, and let's watch Act 1 of The Gallow Does Well.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ed Stone. My father was the author of these 4 plays, and just a bit of interest here, this 4th play in the series was never broadcast by the BBC, like all of the other plays you've been watching. So my father was a little upset about it, but nevertheless, he did have some comments to make about this particular play, so I'd like to convey that to you. This play is based on the life of Charles Peace. Peace has ever been whatever is probably the greatest subject of interest of all time to psychologists and criminologists alike. Primarily, he was an unscrupulous rogue, a thief and a murderer, yet in a matter of seconds, his whole personality could change from a Hyde of the worst order to a pathetic, almost lovable Jekyll. Of exceptionally small stature and physique, Peace was immensely agile and had the strength of 3 men. He could talk cultures English, Cockney, or the dialect of the provinces according to his mood and surroundings, a great actor. Ugly as sin, he had an amazing power over women. His mind was aesthetic as it was lustful and base, but his greatest love was music. And, in particular, musical instruments, almost any of which he could play passably well. Despite the loss of a finger in an accident with a pistol, he was incredibly skillful with his hands. In Madame Tussauds in London, there is a magnificent cathedral, perfect in every architectural detail, cut and made out of paper and cardboard by Peace in the condemned cell. There is no biography of Charles Peace. This play is faithful in facts and detail, with contemporary letters and accounts. Of humble birth, It has always been a mystery as to how he acquired such education and culture as at times he undoubtedly displayed. Whilst the man who actually witnessed this recital of the grave scene from Hamlet, from which this title is taken, died only recently, surely such a character as Charles Peace is worthy of a full dramatization for radio and offers unlimited scope for a first-rate actor. This story begins in Manchester, England, on November the 28th, 1876.
How say you, people of the jury, do you find the prisoner, William Abron, guilty or not guilty of the crime of willful murder?
Guilty.
And that is the verdict of you all?
It is.
William Abron, you stand convicted of the crime of willful murder. Have you anything to say for yourself why sentence of death should not be passed upon you according to law?
Well, sure I have. It's a mistake you're making. I'm innocent. I didn't do it. I'm telling you, I didn't do it.
Silence in court.
William Abron, the jury have found you guilty of a particularly foul and brutal murder in that you shot at and killed a police officer, Constable Cock, who was endeavoring to carry out his duty in apprehending you.
Not me, Your Honor. It's a mistake. I was in bed and asleep.
Silence, silence.
The jury have expressed themselves satisfied beyond all reasonable doubt that you were the man who was seen to enter the grounds of a house at Whalley Range, Manchester, on the night of August 1st this year, with intent to commit a burglary. Then, that when confronted by the law, you drew a pistol and fired 3 shots, one of which proved fatal, thereby making good your escape.
No, it wasn't me. I'm telling you.
The sentence of the law is, therefore, that you be taken from this place to the place from whence you came, and from there to a lawful place of execution, where you shall be hanged by the neck until you are dead. And may the Lord have mercy upon your soul.
And what dost thou find so amusing, Charles Peace? I said, if there's a joke, then I'm entitled to share it.
Oh, nothing, Hannah. Just me thoughts. Just me thoughts.
Aye, thoughts, as like as not. Of yesterday and the day before. Where have you been since Monday, Charlie Peace? Not here in Sheffield, I'll vouch for that.
No, Hannah. In Manchester.
What doing in Manchester?
Watching the slow machinery of the law grind to its inevitable climax. In other words, I was there to witness a man sentenced to death for murder.
Murder? You mean that William Habron?
Yeah, William Abram.
And what's a drunken Irishman to you, may I ask?
Nothing, Hannah, nothing. Just the same, I couldn't help feeling a bit sorry for the fellow. Circumstantial evidence it was. Purely circumstantial evidence.
And I'd have thought you'd seen enough of the inside of police courts and the like, without wanting to show your face there as an idle spectator.
Come now, Hannah. You mustn't talk like that.
Oh, but of course you were only idle during the day. You had to pass the time somehow, waiting for darkness to fall. You must think me a poor blind fool, Charles Peace, if you can't see that you're up to your old tricks again.
Why? You know I've kept out of trouble for a long time now.
Yeah, you've kept out of trouble, but how long can it last? Do you think I don't read the papers? They're full of it. All these burglaries in Hull, Leeds, Manchester, as well as here in Sheffield.
Well, what of it?
Well, the police say that they're work of one and the same man, a man with a slight limp. Yet a man as agile as a cat, a man who can scale the front porch of any house to enter by the window. And all the time, Charles Peace is going straight, earning an honest living making picture frames and, of course, amusing himself on the fiddle. As for this house, it's stacked from roof to cellar with musical instruments. You never could keep those nimble fingers off a musical instrument any more than the silver in a place, could you, Charles Peace?
I'll trouble you to mind your own business.
It's my business when you get caught.
They'll never catch me again. Never, I tell you. I've had enough. Only fools lets themselves get caught.
Only the biggest fools talk that way, Charlie Peace.
Oh, you think so, eh? Well, understand this. No policeman is ever going to rob me of liberty again. Never. I've got me own methods of seeing to that.
Then I say you're mad, Charlie Peace.
Mad, am I? Well, you don't do so badly out of me madness. You have all the money you want, don't you? All I can afford.
Well, I'd have more if you didn't squander it on other women besides.
Now, look here.
What do they see in you, Charlie Peace, but a short, ugly man with a limp and 2 fingers missing? And yet, the Lord above knows you've a strange power over us women, aye, and power gifted by the devil himself, if the truth be known.
I'll stand no more of your blasphemous insults.
Well, even that Kate Dyson, huh? Things have reached a pretty pass when a man can't leave his next-door neighbor's wife alone, and her with a young baby, too.
Blast you, what I do is me own affair.
Aye, as well as the whole of Darnell, it seems. They may act that way in America, where she comes from, but she'd best remember she's married to an Englishman. As for Mr. Dyson, I tell you, you've gone a bit too far this time, Charlie Peace. Look what I found, thrown over the garden fence today.
Hey, give me that.
Better still, I'll read it to you. Just a plain visiting card with these words on the back. Charles Peace is requested not to interfere with my family. Signed, Arthur Dyson.
Does the fool think to scare me with that?
Well, Arthur Dyson's a big man, nearly twice your size, Charlie Peace.
And I tell you, I'm still not afraid. Comes to that, I'm not afraid of any man living. I can look after myself. I can look after myself pretty well. In the meantime, you'd best put a curb on that gossiping tongue of yours. Do you hear?
You take your hands off me!
I rescued you from poverty, didn't I, Hannah Ward? You and that brat of yours.
Well, at least I was honest and a widow.
I married you, didn't I? I gave you a home, and now all I get is your sermons and your insults.
It's not true. Let me go.
I'll stand no more, do you hear?
No!
No more, I say. Oh, I'm sorry, Hannah. You know I'm not given to violence, not really. But you made me do that. You made me do it. I'd best be going. You're better off without me, Hannah.
No, don't go, Charlie Peace. Don't leave me. I don't mind what you are or what you do. Nay, I can even hold with your infidelities so long as I may be with you. And if I grumble sometimes, it's not because of myself. It's you I'm thinking of, Charlie Peace. It's you I'm thinking of.
Is that you, Charlie?
So you answer to the whistle of others besides me, then, Katie Dyson? Well, what ails you? Come here. Come closer, Katie.
No, I mustn't. I guess I ought not to be here at all.
Hey, what's that? Ought not to be here? Oh, I think I know. It's that husband of yours been trying to frighten you, eh?
Maybe, and maybe because it's wrong. Sure, it's utterly wicked of us both, I guess. I came out here tonight like a dog in answer to your whistle, but I've come out for the last time, Charlie. From now on, we're through. I guess it's better that way.
You mean you don't ever want me to hear me play fiddle again? Nor watch me make pretty things? Beautiful things just for you, Katie.
I tell you, it's better that way.
Well, look what I brought you from Manchester, Katie. A present. A little musical box.
Gee, it's nice. It's pretty. But I can't accept it.
Come closer, Katie.
No.
Come closer, I said. That's better. Rest your head on old Charlie's shoulder. Aye, and not so old as I look either. Just a little over 40. Whilst you... You're trembling, Katie. What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of you. Will you please let me go?
Have you forgotten the day I took you to Sheffield Fair? You weren't afraid that day, Katie.
I hate you, Charlie Peace. When I'm away from you, I hate you. I hate you. And yet, in your presence, oh, why can't you leave me alone?
Because you're beautiful, Katie. And Charlie Peace likes beautiful things. There's beauty in music now. Yeah, the greatest beauty of all is in music. There ain't a woman living as beautiful as music.
Sometimes I think you're crazy. At least I must have been crazy these last few months. But I'm wise to things now. Let me go, will you? And don't ever try to see me again. That's what I came out here to tell you. Goodbye, Charlie Peace.
Wait, nobody can treat me that way.
I guess I can, and will. My mind's made up.
You mean that fly husband of yours has made it up for you?
Get this. Arthur Dyson's an honest, hard-working man and a good husband. Take a warning from me, Charlie Peace.
You think I'm afraid of him? I may be only a cripple, but I'm afraid of no man living. None, I tell you.
Then at least, if you have a spark of feeling left for me, you'll start no trouble. Listen.
You think so, eh? Well, you're mistaken. You've not seen the last of me, no, by heavens. I'm not the one to be treated this way. Just wait and see. Just you wait and see, Katie Dyson. Ridiculous.
Confound it, man. Why don't you look where you're... Oh, it's you, Charles Peace.
Aye, and what of it?
I've an idea you tripped me deliberately.
You've some altogether strange ideas, Arthur Dyson. And one of them's throwing insulting notes over garden fence.
I meant what I said in that note, Charles Peace. And since you mentioned the garden fence, you'll oblige me by keeping to your side of it in the future. Nay, I'll stand no more of your interference.
And I say, you've no right to talk to me like
I've every right. You've abused my hospitality as a neighbor and used it to molest my wife, seeking to turn her head with your music and your fancy paper trimmings and all the rest of it. You've succeeded up to a point, enough to set the tongues of the gossips wagging here in Darnell. But I'll see to it. You give 'em cause to wag no more.
You dare to threaten me?
Aye, if a warning counts as a threat. There's a law in this land, the law of trespass. I'm warning you, Charles Peace, not to set foot in my house or grounds again. As for Kate, she's come to see reason and wants no more of you than I do.
You think you can treat me this way, the pair of you? You think because you're a big clumsy lout and I'm only a cripple you can frighten me? Well, you're mistaken.
All I'm giving you is a final warning, Charles Peace, to keep away from me and my family.
And I say a fig for your warning. There. Do you see this pistol? It's loaded.
Madman! Put the thing away!
And I'll not hesitate to use it. From now on, you're going to be sorry you ever tried to meddle with Charlie Peace.
I'll have the law on you for this. I'll stand here talking no more of the madman who threatens my life. I'll have the law on you for this, I say.
Go ahead, then. If you want the whole of Sheffield to know what sort of woman your wife is, I've got proof photographs, letters. Aye, I've kept a lot of them, and you'll see.
All correct, Sergeant.
So it ought to be. Can't imagine anyone wanting to stay outdoors on a night like this, unless they're paid for it.
That's a fact, Sergeant, although the fog's lifting a bit, I fancy.
Yes. In any case, better keep an eye skinned for that Portico thief, as they call him. This is just the kind of district he works, remember? All these houses with the pillars in the front entrance.
Beats me how he does it, unless he's a ruddy monkey. Think we'll ever nab him, Sergeant?
If we don't, and soon at that, the uniform won't be worth wearing, I can tell you.
You mean all what the newspapers are saying about the police? Well, if you ask me, it's someone who only works by night, eh? Someone who leads quite a respectable life during daytime.
You're entitled to your theories, Constable, but meanwhile, it's action that's wanted, so keep a sharp lookout.
Right, Sergeant.
I'll be round again in half an hour.
The Portico thief, eh? Oh, well.
Silver, and again silver. Enough on one mantel shelf to keep a poor man in comfort for a 12-month. Clumsy. What's this? A guitar. A real Spanish guitar with ribbons attached. Oh, haven't I dreamed of owning one of these?
Who's there? Who are you?
Stand back.
Help! Call the police! A burglar!
Stand back, I say, stand back.
Come on, the game's up.
Oh, whatever is happening, Graves?
Keep away, my lady. He's armed.
A burglar? Oh, where are the police? What are they doing?
Open the window, my lady, and...
Oh, Graves, are you hurt?
No, my lady, I just slipped in the darkness.
Get away from that window, man, or I'll shoot.
Do as he says, my lady. The fellow's dangerous.
The gas. Graves, turn up the gas.
I've got it, my lady. I've got it. There.
Stand back, the pair of you, or you'll be sorry for it.
He's only a little man, Graves.
He has the strength of 4, my lady.
And what a strange, almost pathetic look in his eyes.
It's the Portico thief, all right, my lady. Wanted by the police of every town in the north. You'd best put up that gun and come quietly, fellow. You haven't a chance.
I tell you, you're mistaken, both of you. I am not a thief, not really. This is the first time I've ever done it. I'm just a poor man with a wife and 4 children to keep from starvation. You wouldn't turn a poor man like me over to police, would you? Think of what had happened to me children.
Don't you believe him, my lady. He's...
Oh, all right, Graves. I think I can handle this myself. Just leave us alone, will you?
But your ladyship, the fellow's a dangerous criminal.
You heard what I said, Graves.
Your ladyship.
Just wait in the next room. I'll call you if I need any help.
Very well, my lady. But I implore you to take good care.
Now then, won't you please put away that dangerous little weapon and... I see that it's strapped to your wrist. And yet you don't look to me at all the kind of person who'd ever use it, other than to frighten people. I do hope I'm right.
Well,
What's your name?
Ward, ma'am. John Ward.
Quite a common name in Sheffield. But there, I might have known the question was a foolish one. Do you know that it's very wicked to break into people's houses and steal their silver?
Well, I've told you, ma'am, I'm a poor man with
a wife and 4 starving children. But there is such a thing as work, you know. Hard, honest work. Have you never tried it?
You asked me that. Here, take a look at legs, see? That's all I got to show after 2 years of hard, honest work in a mill.
You met with an accident?
Aye, followed by more than a 12-month in hospital.
A terrible misfortune. And your hand, I see.
Ah, well, that was another incident. Quite different altogether. Cleaning a revolver I was when it went off. Blew away these 2 fingers. But I can still play music. I can play any instrument you care to mention, ma'am.
You can?
Aye. Now that guitar, for instance. That real Spanish guitar. Would you like me to hear... Would you like to hear me play a tune on it?
Oh, why, it hasn't been used for years. We only keep it as an ornament.
You'd be doing me a great favour, ma'am, just to let me handle it.
Then by all means.
Oh, thank you, ma'am, thank you. Oh, it's a real work of art. Yes, ma'am, a beautiful instrument. Needs a bit of tuning, of course, but now, what would you like me to play for you, ma'am?
Oh, I leave that entirely to you.
What about On Ilk L'amour?
Oh, one of my favourites.
Then... Where hast du been since I saw thee? On Ilk L'amour batat. Where hast du been since I saw thee? Where hast du been since I saw thee? On Ilk L'amour batat. On Ilk L'amour batat. On Ilk L'amour batat.
Your ladyship, are you all right?
Oh, as you can see, Graves, I'm perfectly all right. In fact, there's no need for you to wait up any longer.
But, your ladyship...
Oh, do as I say, Graves. Go back to bed. I have the situation well in hand.
Well, that, as you please, milady, but...
Good night, Graves.
Good night, milady. Oh, if only his lordship were here.
As I was saying, you're a wonderfully gifted player.
I can do better still on fiddle. I believe it or not, when I was a lad, they used to call me the modern Paganini.
I can well believe it. But unfortunately, I don't possess a violin.
Yeah, the modern Paganini. I can act too, ma'am. I can act. If you've a moment, listen to this. Scene. A churchyard. Enter 2 clowns. Come, my spade, there is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditchers, grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession. Was he a gentleman? He was the first ever bore arms. Why, he had none. What, art an heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. What is he that built stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter? The gallows maker. For that frame outlives 1,000 tenants. Oh, I like thy wit well. In good faith, the gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those that do ill. Now, thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Ah, the gallows may do well to thee. As you may know, ma'am, that was from Hamlet, Act 5, Scene 1.
All I know is that you're a man of many talents. But what a pity those great talents are so wasted.
Well, that be the Lord's doing. 'Twas his will that I should become a cripple.
You believe in the Almighty?
I went to Sunday school when I was a boy.
Then surely you must also fear him. Surely you must know that it's wicked to steal.
Well, I believe in the Lord, and I believe in the devil too, but I don't fear either of them.
Ah, what a strange man you are. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone quite like you.
You aren't going to turn me over to police, are you, ma'am? You wouldn't do that to a poor man who's...
Aren't you forgetting it is I who am in your power? The little revolver, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Just the same. I'm grateful for your kindness, ma'am, your understanding. I was never the one to forget a kindness, and I'd like to give you a little something to remember me by. You like pretty things, ma'am?
Oh, what woman doesn't?
Do you mind if I just have this sheet of paper off desk here?
But of course.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, just watch while I fold it so. And again, like that. Just nick off a few pieces.
Whatever is it going to be?
And
how quickly your fingers work.
If I had the time, ma'am, I could make you something really big and beautiful. I could make you a model of York Cathedral, correct in every detail, just out of paper.
But how wonderful.
As it is. There. Just a little something to remember Charlie, that is, to remember John Ward by, ma'am.
A little house. A cottage. It's beautiful. Perfect. However did you do it in the time?
I've amused myself like that ever since I was child.
I can only repeat. What a strange man. Utterly strange.
And with your permission, ma'am, I'll be getting along now. I did put 1 or 2 bits of silver in me bag. I'd better put it back where it came from. Mostly off mantel here.
Oh, yes. I doubt whether you'd have got very far with your plunder. It's all crested and known to most of the jewellers in the county. You'd have done better had you looked in this bureau. Yes. Utterly strange. Ugly. Yet one can scarcely take one's eyes from his face. Evil, too. And yet, there must be some goodness behind the evil. Otherwise, how could so much beauty be lurking there in the soul?
There, ma'am. Everything's back in place. And that's worth more than all the silver put together.
Suppose I gave you these 3 sovereigns. Would you promise to never to burgle our home again?
You're kind, ma'am, very kind. But would you think me ungrateful if I asked you for this Spanish guitar instead?
But what about your wife and 4 starving children?
Oh, yeah, there is that, of course. But maybe if I had the guitar, I could earn a bit of money with it, playing in the streets. You get the idea.
To think that an old musical instrument could mean so much to a common burglar. But you haven't answered my question. I'll repeat it. Suppose I give you these 3 sovereigns and the guitar. Will you promise to stop being a burglar?
Well, you're very kind, ma'am, very kind indeed. And I'll try. I'll do my best, ma'am.
If you try hard enough, I'll feel sure you'll succeed. As for this pretty little paper cottage, I shall keep it on the mantelpiece here amongst the silver,
I shall keep it always in memory of...
John Ward, ma'am.
Shall we say the portico thief?
No, not me, ma'am. You're mistaken.
Now, here are the sovereigns.
Thank you, ma'am.
And you're welcome to the guitar.
Oh, most good of you, to be sure.
And yet, I wonder if I'd done the right thing.
Where hast du been since I saw thee? On Ilklimoor Batat, on Ilklimoor Batat.
Morning, Mr. Peace.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
Thought I'd drop in and see if picture frame's mended yet.
Aye, it's all ready and waiting for you.
Waiting for the missus, you mean? 'Tis her bit of bric-brac. But I were the culprit. Accidentally knocked it down off wall, I did. And you know what women are. Must have it mended right away, as though their life depended on it.
Well, here it is. 2 shillings to pay.
And cheap enough at that, I reckon. You've made a right good job of it, Mr. Peace. Hello, what's this? Another musical instrument, eh?
A real Spanish guitar.
Oh, aye, getting quite a collection one way or another.
Well, I suppose every man's entitled to his hobby.
That's true enough. And like to hear you give us a tune on it sometime. Can't stop now, though. I've to be at the mill at 12. Working the late shift this week, I am. Well, good day, Mr. Peace. And thanks for the picture frame. This'll please the missus, all right.
Yeah, a real Spanish guitar.
Mr. Peace, Mr. Charles Peace.
Well, what do the police want with me?
A nice quiet little place you've got here. Not at all what I'd have thought in the circumstances.
What do you mean with me? What do you want with me?
I've come to serve you with a summons.
A summons? What the devil do you mean? I've done nothing.
In that case, you've got nothing to worry about. Just the same, I'm here to deliver this summons. Whereas information has this day been laid by Arthur Dyson, residing at number 12 Britannia Road, Darnell, against Charles Peace, residing at number 10 Britannia Road, Darnell, both in the county of York, that the said Charles Peace did utter threats and behave in such a manner as to endanger the life and or to cause a breach of the peace, to wit, that he did produce a loaded firearm and threaten to shoot the said Arthur Dyson. Take notice, therefore, that the said Charles Peace is hereby summoned to appear in person before the magistrates at Sheffield on the 15th day of December in the year of our Lord, 1876.
They dare to do this to me? He's a liar. There isn't a word of truth in it.
You'll be given every chance to prove as much, Mr. Peace. Meanwhile, you understand you must appear in court personally on the date stated.
And if I don't?
Then there'll be a warrant issued for your arrest.
Arrest?
Good day, Mr. Peace.
By heaven, they'll be sorry for this, the pair of them. Aye, let them wait and see.
What's up, Charlie Peace? What is it? What's to do?
You mind your own business, Hannah.
A summons by the look of it. And if that isn't my business. Whereas information has this day been laid by the Dysons, eh? I knew it. I knew it would come to this.
And I say they're going to withdraw that summons. Aye, before I've finished, they're going to be sorry they ever crossed my path, the pair of them. You wait and see.
Madman! Haven't you done enough already without making matters worse? Keep away from them, Charlie Peace. Keep away from the DYSON'S or you'll find yourself in a police cell.
A police cell? No, never again. Never again. For me, I tell you.
Sure as my name was Hannah Ward when I married you, that's what'll happen. Well, you've got yourself in a fine pickle, and all because you never could resist a pretty face.
Blast you, I can handle me own affairs.
Oh, it looks like it, you numbskull. Can't you see what's going to happen? When this case comes up in court, the police are going to make inquiries about you, and then the truth will be out that Charles Peace, the simple cripple who earns an honest living mending picture frames and collecting musical instruments, has already spent 10 of his 40 years in prison for housebreaking and larceny. Aye, as like as not, the police will know they've found the portico thief at last.
Stop! That mustn't be allowed to happen, do you hear me? I'll get out of it somehow. Aye, I'll get out of it.
Oh, how? I should like to know.
To blazes with the summons. We'll pack up and go. That's what we'll do.
Leave Darnell?
Aye, right out of Sheffield too. We'll go to Hull.
To Hull?
You've got a bit put by, eh, Hannah?
Oh, well, if so, 'tis no thanks to you.
I know the little business going in Hull, a coffee shop, with living quarters above. Rent's cheap enough too. They won't think of looking for us there, and in a few weeks' time, the summons will be forgotten, or else withdrawn.
And supposing it isn't?
Wait and see, Hannah. Wait and see.
Come, Habron, it's your move, eh? And that's well on way to winning that first game of drafts.
Oh, they're coming for me in the morning, aren't they? Tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn.
Ah, 'tisn't rightly for me to say, Habron.
Oh, sure, but they are. Don't I know the unholy quiet there's been these last 2 days? I'm telling you, it's tomorrow morning they'll come to hang me by the neck till I'm dead, and me an innocent man.
Thou do well to keep calm, lad. There's many an hour to go yet before morning.
Oh, sure, and they'll be asking after me what I'd like for me breakfast. What would you choose, Warden? What would you choose for your last meal on this earth? Tell me that now. Or maybe you wouldn't be having much of an appetite at all.
Come, lad, 'tis thy move. Prisoner William Habron, stand up for the governor.
The governor? And would you be hanging me before my time, sir? Since when did they hang a man in the darkness of night?
All right, Habron, I've some good news for you.
Oh, good news? For a man about to face his maker?
In reviewing all the circumstances, as well as the nature of the evidence taken at your trial, the Home Secretary has seen fit to advise Her Majesty to exercise the royal prerogative of mercy in your favour. And this Her Majesty has graciously consented to do.
Do you mind telling me, sir, just what that's all about?
Your sentence, Habron, has been commuted to one of penal servitude for life.
You mean I'm not going to die?
Not on the gallows anyway, Habron.
Oh, Mother of God be praised. Do you hear that? I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna live.
When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. There. Go to sleep now. Is that you, Arthur?
Aye, 'tis me, Kate. Is baby asleep?
Arthur, I've news for you.
You haven't all.
Charles Peace and Hannah, I guess they've blown. Left the district.
Then good riddance, I say. But if Charles Peace isn't in court day after tomorrow to answer summons, there'll be a warrant out for him.
Sure, they must have left secretly one night this week, I reckon. Already the house is up to let, furnished.
And if all you confess to me is true, then you ought to be right pleased, Kate. Instead, you're looking worried. How come?
I'm scared, Arthur. I'm scared of him. Charles Peace will be back again, I know it.
Aye. And suppose he is fool enough to show himself here in Darnell. You've still no cause to be afraid, Kate.
I guess you don't know Charles Peace like I do. I never told you, but I passed him in the street the other day. I just can't describe the fearful expression on his face and his eyes. They seemed to look right through me. For a moment, I thought he was going to stop and say something, but in the end, he just walked straight on without a word. I tell you, I'm scared, Arthur. We should never have done this thing.
Since when can a man threaten his neighbor with firearms and avoid the consequences?
Better still, we should have been the ones to leave Darnell. Sure, to get away from it all.
Leave Darnell, eh?
Oh, I guess I've been to blame, but there's no reason to laugh at me, Arthur Dyson.
Who said I was laughing at you, Kate? Fact is, I've a little surprise. As it happens, we are leaving Darnell.
Say that again?
Aye, I thought it best. When all's said and done, what with the tongues of the gossips, there can be no happiness for us here in Darnell. I've given landlord notice, Kate, and next week we move to Banner Cross.
Banner Cross?
6 miles or more from here, and it'll be a fresh start, Kate, for both of us. I've taken some detached house in Ecclesall Road there. I don't doubt you'll like it.
Gee, I know I shall like it, but...
But what, Kate?
No, nothing. Nothing, Arthur. Nothing.
Another cup of the coffee, missus.
Another coffee?
Aye, thou makest best cup of coffee in less ways these here on the waterfront.
You should know you drink enough of it.
I've got to get the smell of fish out of the system somehow.
There you are. A penny, please.
And I'll have sugar too, if you don't mind.
Here, help yourself. Is that a Sheffield newspaper you got there?
Aye, you from Sheffield?
No, but I have friends there, that's all.
Got a daughter in service in Sheffield. Generally sends paper home once a week, just to let us know she's still here. Saves trouble of writing. If truth be known, here, thou's welcome. I've finished with it.
Much obliged. Stop your scraping and take a look at this, Charlie Peace. There's a warrant out for you.
What's that?
You thought, once you left the district, Dyson would withdraw that summons, but he didn't. This newspaper's 3 days old, given to me by a customer, and here's what it says. Darnell, the police are anxious to trace the whereabouts of Charles Peace, a picture frame maker formerly living at 10 Britannia Road, Darnell, who failed to appear in answer to a summons alleging armed threats against a neighbor. A warrant has been issued for his arrest. There's a full description of you here, Charles Peace.
Damn it! A curse on them! They'll be sorry for this.
Oh, you said that once before.
Aye, and I mean it. This time I mean it. I can still make them withdraw that summons.
Oh, how?
You'll see. Aye, they'll be glad to withdraw it before I've finished.
What are you going to do?
I'm going back to Sheffield, to Darnell.
Oh, you're crazy. The police will get you long before.
No copper'll ever get me, I tell you. Mark my words. Never.
Don't go, Charlie Peace. Don't go, I beg of you. No good can come of it.
Out of my way.
No! Come back, Charlie Peace. Come back, I say. Come back.
So, having been threatened by Peace, it was an opportune moment for the Dysons to make plans and move to Banner Cross, several miles away, and hopefully out of the reach from Charles Peace. Never saw that coming. You know, I don't know if I ever mentioned before, but all of the plays in the series have been based on actual cases. Austin Stone, I think, summed up perfectly Charles Peace's character when he noted, in a matter of seconds, his whole personality could change from a Hyde of the worst order to a pathetic, almost lovable Jekyll. Truly frightening situation. Which reminds me of my own case. I was describing to you before, I was interrupted. Anyway, I'm making significant progress. Unbelievably, I came across some evidence in my own flat on Wellington Avenue. Yes, I'm right downtown in the new suites. Anyway, I was sifting through some old files to see if I could find a pattern with any of my past cases. Maybe there was a clue. Guess what? The threatening notes, the breaks, the poisoning, they'd all happened before in one specific case involving the very evil Dr. Alexander. Right, and a shooting! Okay, looks like we're out of time. Tune in next week, or else.